Hey everybody, welcome to We Are All Geeks. My name is Kenny, and over to my left,
I'm Felipe.
and man, we have a show for you today. So delay season continues.
Of course.
Dying Light 2 got delayed, but instead of just being delayed from early 2020, it's indefinite now. So
This game's never coming out.
probably not.
It
No,
will, for sure. But
let's talk about it, because the first Dying Light really got attention due to the fact that it was simply a game that was not trash when PS4 and Xbox One came out.
right,
Like it was one of the better games that was in the launch window. I think it was January technically, but that was still after everyone had just got their consoles and you blew through Killzone or Rise, whatever you had. And then Dying Light was there and you're like, all right,
I mean,
I'll
it
try
wasn't a bad game.
It was not a bad game at all. It's not an amazing game. And if Dying Light 1 was coming out right now, it would have got less attention by
For
far.
sure. Yeah.
Like for sure. That being said, Dying Light 2 does look like a quantum leap in what the game is. Right?
Yeah, Dying Light 2, from everything they've shown, it looks a lot different, like just very ambitious with the stuff that they talked about, you have a lot of choices, and depending on who you help and what do you do, that can change up the story and things like that. So it's been in, I would call it like development hell for a while. We heard about it, and then I want to say like at least a couple years ago, it was like officially announced, maybe 3 years ago, where they like officially announced it, and then they had some gameplay trailers. They showed some trailers, and I think what's telling is the fact that usually when a game gets delayed, usually it has like a date. It has like, hey, last week we talked about Cyberpunk. It's going to come out this day, right? And they realize there's something, and then they bump it up to another date, later in the year. Where this game was just like, hey, we're coming out in 2020, or we're coming out in early 2020. So they didn't even have a date.
Yeah, they didn't have a date, and then they were like, yeah, no, we're not gonna hit that. We're gonna delay this indefinitely.
I wonder why.
So here's my theory. Of course, this theory has no basis in reality other than, just looking at the past. They're going to be looking at PS5 and Series X.
I mean, I could see that. If you're not out already, if your game's going to get delayed, it's one of those things that
at this point, it's why not?
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to straddle the generations, if you can make a big push, especially from everything they've shown in that game, I could see it being like, it looked fantastic, just graphically. And so if it makes sense for them, but part of me wonders, do you think that they would have just said that? Like, hey, we're actually going to push this to the next generation? They're trying to avoid some fallout by like, we won't say that it's coming out next generation because...
And it could totally be a fringe game. It could end up still coming out at PS4, Xbox One, but also being optimized for PS5 and Xbox Series X. Like that could be the play. I think that's the play at this point, because I think it's, hey, you remember how last gen started off and Dying Light was one of the better games that was out? Let's do that again. Let's do that with the PS5 and the Series X, and let's be one of the better games that comes out on the consoles. I mean, typically, let's be honest for just a second. Launch titles wise, Madden and 2K are usually the best games that come out on those consoles because they don't change that much. Like they're not. The first parties are always forced to use whatever new feature is in the thing. Like the PS4, it was you need to do something with that light bar, and you need to make.
I remember Killzone, like having to like swipe up or down or whatever.
You got to use the touchpad. Like let's even go back to PS3 when it was the 6-axis, and you had to figure out a way to use that 6-axis one way or another. So that's my theory is as why Dying Light was so successful. It was the third party that didn't have to do that, and that's why 2K and Madden are always so good on the new consoles. They were just prettier versions of the other games. Maybe the physics engine works a little bit better, but it's just because it has more power, et cetera, et cetera. So, we'll see for sure what ends up happening with Dying Light, but I think that I think that's what they should be doing is.
Do you think coming out this year?
No.
Really?
No.
You think it's just coming out next year?
Yeah, I think it's I think it's January 2021. I think
Wow.
we're a year out.
I mean, not complaining in the sense that there's a lot of other games to play. So
This year is still packed. Like it's
still.
it's. I mean, you're not getting out of the way of any of those things because you're not trying. Not knocking Dying Light, but it's not competing with Cyberpunk and Avengers at this stage. Like it would be the out of left field, just smacking someone in the face, like if it competed with those.
Right.
That being said, I mean, everyone said Red Dead 2 was coming out. Get the hell out of the year that game's coming out, guys. You don't want to compete with that. And then, the thing happened with that. Same thing kind of happened with Death Stranding.
Yeah.
To a lesser extent than RD2, because, man, when you talked, man, you remember talking about Red Dead Redemption 2? Like, man, this is the game that's going to end all games. That was all the hype around it. Everyone was excited for it. Like, Red Dead 1 was so much fun. Like, of course Red Dead 2 is gonna come through and bust through the doors, and it, like, seems like it split the vote or something.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it's because, not to get on a tangent for Red Dead, but like Red Dead, they made the game that they wanted to make. Didn't care if
yes.
That very Death Stranding-esque in the sense of like they made the game that they wanted to make.
Mm-hmm.
They had a story to tell, they had mechanics they wanted to use, and that's it. That's what Red Dead did. They made a cowboy simulator, and it's like, nope, this is how it's going to be, and it's going to be super slow at first, and it's going to have all these things, and that's it. That's the game they wanted to make. So
And it's sort of that thing of you hit the target you were aiming for, but also it's just not what everyone wanted. Like, you did exactly what you wanted to do, and it was always that for every one person in the room that was like, Red Dead is my game of the year, there seemed to be like 3 that kind of said, yeah, but you played God of War, and then maybe one that said, but Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it felt like all year after October when that happened. It was like, no, God of War was better though, guys. Like, it was. If we could have actually come to a consensus on God of War being our game of the year last year, it would have been easy. God of War 1 and probably Spider-Man 2. Like, it would have been.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, like we might have gotten to some controversy at 3. That's about it.
But yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So that's about it for news, man.
Do you think there'd be any other delays? I think we talked about this last time where we.
Well, I mean, what else do we have a date for that hasn't been delayed at this point? I mean, we were supposed to have Last of Us Part 2 in February. That's May now.
Yep.
Of course, we got everything got pushed. Like, Doom technically got kicked
Pushed
out of
from last
November.
year, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what can get pushed. Persona 5 Royal ain't getting pushed because it's already out in Japan.
Yeah, it's already out in
that
Japan.
game's done for all intents and purposes. They just need to put the English on it.
Yeah.
Um,
Because there's nothing really like big. I mean, there's some other games coming out that I'm personally interested in, like Darksiders, but that's already out on PC.
right.
Yeah.
I mean,
The crazy thing is that we don't know all the big stuff coming out because everyone's just holding on to it to talk about next generation.
right.
Like, that was the thing I remember us talking about even last year of what's coming out holiday 2020. Before we were sure that the consoles would be coming out in holiday 2020, where they hadn't really said specifically, hey, holiday 2020 is when we're coming out. Because everyone was just holding. So, I don't know. Yeah, I guess nothing major. I mean, Watchdog Legions got pushed back.
Yeah.
Already.
right.
So everything's.
Gods and Monsters already got pushed back. Like,
that was all supposed to be out in February. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Everything we knew about feels like it's already been delayed. Like, anything at this point that happened would be another delay
Yeah.
to something. So I don't think anything can get delayed at this point. I really don't. I think the only thing that this year that didn't get a delay was Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Yeah.
That's about it.
So.
Yeah. Have we talked about what we think is going to be releasing on next gen?
What do you mean? Like,
So,
just in.
launch title.
That's the thing is I'm not expecting any. Are you thinking like a sequel to some game is gonna come out on?
I mean,
on it,
maybe.
or?
Like, of course, we don't know the original IP that we'll get. You know, I'm betting we're not getting Knack 3. You know what? Hold that, Mark. Sony loves Knack. We're getting Knack 3.
Yeah, we probably might get Knack 3.
We might get Knack 3, man. I'm holding the hope. I'm keeping the faith. I don't think this is gonna happen, but man, if we got a new Horizon, I would lose my mind. If that,
Yeah, what are they doing?
I mean, it's very clear. It's not announced or anything, but it's very clear that Guerrilla is doing another Horizon.
I mean, Horizon did very well.
It did very well. It was the best-selling PS4 game at that point. It was. I mean, it had the unfortunate release time of the same week as the Switch and Breath of the Wild.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
No, there was this. This is going down as one of the best weeks in gaming history because it started end of February. We got Horizon, and then that was Tuesday. Friday we ended up getting the Switch and Breath of the Wild and the other things that also came with it. Which, let's be honest, Breath of the Wild, greatest launch title of all time. Like, by far. It wasn't even my game of the year that year. It was Horizon, but man, it's got to be the best launch game of all time. And then the next Tuesday, the Tuesday after the Switch came out, we got Nier Automata.
Oh, yeah.
That was 1, 3, and 4 of my top 5 games of that year, of 2018, were in that week. The only one that didn't come out that week that was in my top 4 was Mario Odyssey, which was my second. Like, that week was just insane. And
yeah, I don't remember that. I didn't get the Switch launch day. Like,
yeah,
I got it
later,
so.
I got mine like a month later, but I remember that hype.
I hope they make another Horizon. That'd be. I mean, I really like the first one. So
and the first one ends on a cliffhanger that there needs to be another one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'll call it Horizon First Dusk.
Yeah.
Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon First Dusk. That's the next.
Okay. Sure.
That's the next step, right? That's logical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If that name is anywhere close to that, I'll buy a copy of that for you. It's on record. There, you can.
How about you put $60 to the collector's edition? Because there's no way in hell I'm getting standard.
That also works. But if any of those words aren't part of the new game, you heard it here. I'll do it for him.
Horizon the First Dusk.
Yeah.
Put it on the books. Put it on the books. Yeah, that's the only thing that I've even heard a rumor of, tell of, that gets me excited. But I mean, of course, Halo Infinite.
Yeah, we know that.
We know that, so that could also be the one that blows the doors off. Like, man, next gen is coming up. It's
crazy, man. Next gen is almost here.
It's like one of the most exciting times in video games when we're looking at a new console launch, even if the games that come out with it are typically very meh. Like I said, the best ones are Madden 2K and FIFA. Yeah. Those are the top 3 games on new consoles.
But I'm excited. I mean, new generations always exciting, seeing what the new features are going to be, seeing what the games are going to be like. And, I believe wholeheartedly that they're just waiting for like these consoles to have their own like press conferences and whatever to, get some more specs out there, or have talk more about the features and maybe talk about like release date and stuff like that. And once that information is out, then it's just going to be, I think, a flood of new games just getting announced. It's going to be like boom, 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 boom. All these games all coming out for new console. I'm hoping for mostly new and not some sequels, but it's also, I think, around the time that you do get that sequel that comes out that you weren't either expecting, or you're like, oh, whatever. And then this comes out, you're like, holy crap, this is awesome.
I mean, Killzone.
Mm-hmm.
No one was thinking we were getting another Killzone, really. I mean, and there's also a reason why we didn't think we were getting another Killzone, and there's a reason that Horizon killed Killzone. Like,
right.
All fair, but Killzone was actually not a bad game. It was certainly the prettiest game at launch for either console.
Yeah, but
I
it's
would
cool
say.
when they do things like that, like with Killzone or when they did Infamous. You know, it's like
Yeah.
not Infamous 3, but it was another Infamous, and it was still, I thought it was great. You know,
It was
so,
an open world superhero game. Like,
yeah. So I love it when they do that. I'm excited. I'm just really, really, I can't wait for them to like talk some more about it, and so we can
Yep.
start getting more into it. But
Yep.
all we can do is wait and play other games.
Yes. And so enough looking forward to the future. Let's talk about the here and now. Felipe, playing some games.
I've played some games.
All right. Where do you want to start?
Welcome to Persona Corner.
Welcome to All right.
I did not finish Persona 5.
Okay. Okay.
I know. Talked to Kenny before we recorded yesterday. Told him that I was at the very end of Persona 5. I had saved right before the final boss. I was right there. Finished this game, 120 hours in, getting ready to be done. Freaking love this game. If you have not played it, if we haven't talked enough about Persona, play this game. I get there. I'm doing all the things. You know, I looked up like a strat because I'm like, I just want to be done with this game. I
just want to see the end.
Just tell me which.
There's a
this-
light.
Yeah.
There's a light, and then I'm
Which like this boss is weak to this and this form is weak to this. I had all that looked up. I went through everything, and it talked about like when you're right there at the end, like seriously, the boss had like a little sliver of life left. Like the boss is gonna do the super powerful move that you gotta guard so you don't die. And I'm like, of course, you know, I've played video games, I know what to do. So it happens. I guard like with all my characters. He doesn't do the move. I'm like, well, he's still charging up, so I'm going to guard it again. So I guard it. He does the move. 30, 40 minutes into this fight. Kid you not. Long-ass fight. Does the move. Every single one of my characters survives with 1 hit point. It kills the main character. I lose the battle. I lose the battle.
So he took out Joker and
Took out Joker, which means that it's game over if Joker
Yes.
dies. With the other characters, if they die, I can revive them. But he took out the main character, Joker. Literally 40 minutes into this battle. It was last night, almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, what? No, I'm supposed to survive this. And then it just like, boom, do you want to restart the battle? And I'm like, well, I do want to restart the battle, because if I didn't, I would have to like do a bunch of other stuff coming up. And I just sat there looking at it like, I'm going to go to bed. Like, I'm just going to go to bed. That's it. So tonight, hopefully, I'm going to go home and actually finish Persona 5. I was very upset.
I'm upset for you.
It was just the most, I sat there just dumbfounded, like looking like, no. Like, this is some joke that then, like, Joker's going to come back. And it's like, no. My guys had, like, plus defense up and plus, evasion up. None of that matter. Killed them. I'm really nervous to now play again tonight and have this happen again, and there's another 30 or so minutes just down the drain of like.
No, that's the hard thing about Persona. I was telling you, like, I started playing again. I'm in the casino. I guess we can finally talk about it. It's her sister, Makoto's sister. Sai.
Sai?
Sai. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm in the casino and I'm going through, and then I mistime a button in an encounter, and I end up getting jumped instead of jumping the character. And they jumped me and took out Joker after an hour of working on the slot side of the casino.
And then when was the last time you saved, right?
Yeah, and it was an hour. It was when I started playing, and I said,
it's very demoralizing when that happens.
It sucks. I get the system. I get why it's there. It is there to kind of punish you. It is there to make you backtrack to go get that save when you've done these things. Man, I was sad.
Yeah.
Man, that just sucked. That just hurt. I also should have just been able to kill these opponents. Because they get the drop on you and they get to go like twice before you get to. Like, it's just, I would have beat them if I would have just mistimed it. And I'm like,
Still,
Okay.
really good game.
It is. It's a fantastic game.
I'm about to finish it.
I'm getting that itch for a turn-based, so I'm going back to it. I'm going to start playing it full-heartedly again. But yeah, it's things that like that make me be like, I don't want to.
It's hard to. Yeah, I mean, I'm going because I'm like right there at the end. But if this wasn't the final boss, I probably would just put this game down. Like I'm gonna play something else for like a week or so.
I need
yeah.
to filter that out.
Yeah,
like-
and then just be like, oh yeah, I'm almost done. No, so I need to finish it tonight, hopefully, because there's other games I've been playing.
Right.
But do you wanna go 1-1? I got like 2 more I can tell you guys about.
Let's do another for you.
Okay. Well, because I really do love Persona, I've been playing practically another Persona game. So I picked up Tokyo Mirage Session FE Encore.
FE Sharp Encore something. It's a
Yeah.
yes. Tokyo Mirage Sessions. All right. So how has that been?
So it's a game that I think originally came out on the Wii U.
Yep.
Right. I've never played, never even heard of it until hell, it was about to come out. And it was one of those where just like with Fire Emblem, like I've heard about it, at least on Fire Emblem side, I heard about it, never played it until I picked this last Fire Emblem up, loved it. So this game, I kept hearing that it was coming out. Hey, this Tokyo Mirage game's coming out. I'm like, okay, I don't care about this game. And it wasn't until maybe a week before release, I looked up a video and I looked up what this game was about, and I was like, holy crap, it's Persona and Fire Emblem together.
Yeah, it's Atlas.
Yeah.
Kind of getting to play with Fire Emblem. Here, you played the game. You explain what the hell is going on here, because it's a concept, man.
Man, but I mean, this game it's some Persona-ass Persona. Like I've only played like a couple hours, so I'm still very very in the beginning. But I mean, the story is just as crazy as a Persona game. Everyone in this in Tokyo, in this world, it's set in Tokyo. They have this kind of magical attribute or something called Performa, and then these enemies from like another dimension come in because they want to steal the Performa. So the game starts with you getting kind of abducted, and then you fight off these shadows basically, and you cleanse one of them, and it's, I guess, some early spoilers, so hang in there. You cleanse one of them, and it's like Chrom from Fire Emblem, and then you cleanse this other one, and it's some other girl from Fire Emblem whose name I don't know, and they basically become your weapons, and so then you transform, and it's, again, if you like Persona, it does the same thing. You're going to cast Zio as your lightning, you're going to cast Bufu as your ice magic. It does this really cool thing that once you attack an enemy, and if they're weak to it, someone else at your party, if they have the correct skill, they will also jump in and do another attack, so you can chain attacks and stuff like that. But my one gripe with this game is, and I mean, it's all in Japanese,
Right.
voiced. All
Right.
Of course, all the menus and stuff like that is all in English. But one of the fantastic things about all the Persona games is the voice acting.
Yes.
Those characters. All Persona games that I've ever played or seen, fantastic characters. Like the voice acting's, the best out there. And so I'm missing that part of it. These guys, they're talking a lot, and to just hear it in Japanese, I don't mind it, but I wish there was English.
And I seen some of the gameplay. You showed me some of it. It's fine for the subtitles to be there when they're there, but the problem is that there's not always subtitles.
Yeah.
Like when you're in battle, they are talking, but you don't get a subtitle to know what they're saying.
Which, I mean, Persona does that as well, and also in Persona games, sometimes they're talking and there is no voice acting. It's just there for you to read, which again, it's fine, but
that's fine. But if I'm hearing a voice, I want to know what they're saying, and you don't get it. It's one of the things that drove me away from some Arc System Works games, in that they had the subtitles during like story cutscenes and stuff, but when you were actually fighting, they would be
Yeah,
talking.
they'll
They would-
say some
they
stuff,
would-
some
they
little
would-
phrases.
Yeah, they
and-
would have that banter and stuff, and then you didn't know what they were saying, and that's just like it sucks. I just want to know what's going on. Like what is this character's personality in the context of the battle right now?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because
it's-
you lose some of that,
Uh-huh.
because I don't speak Japanese at all.
Yeah.
And so when they're talking, like you can get a lot of sense of the character about, especially, me playing Persona 5, finishing it up, you can see not just, when you're reading what the character's saying, but how they're saying it and just how their, personality comes across. You do miss out a lot of that when it's in a different language and you just have to read it, just because Japanese is so different that I can't even infer like how they're just like saying their things. And I'm like, I don't know. Like I think this character's cool, but it's hard to tell. But still, it's been awesome. I'm really looking forward to. That's the thing that I want to finish Persona and then just keep going with another game. So
Cool.
But
So one of the games I played over this past weekend was Dragon Ball Z Kakarot that I mentioned earlier. So I played a little bit of it. Like I didn't have to go too deep to realize that I was probably
This game's
not
not for
going
you.
to need to go deeper. For Dragon Ball fans, to give some context to how not far I got in this game, how little I played of this, I beat Raditz. Goku died, went to Snake Way. He had a little trivia thing with King Yama, and then I'm back. The last thing that happened was Piccolo waking up Gohan saying, "Hey, your dad's dead." Yeah, start crying. Now I'm gonna start training you, and the first part of your training is you're gonna live alone for 6 months out here. Bye. Like that's literally how far I got. So I have Vegeta hasn't even landed on Earth yet. Nappa hasn't died. Nothing. Like I got very early on, and I knew it wasn't for me because of two aspects. So the first is the combat. Is Xenoverse.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of Xenoverse. It's fine, but like the second Xenoverse really wasn't for me. The first one I at least beat, but the second one really wasn't for me. And it just doesn't click for me. And then it's the fact that I'm always going to be forced to use the character that they want you to use. It's called Kakarot, but you're not always playing as Goku. Like you, early on, it does have you play as Piccolo. The scene I just described with Piccolo and Gohan, it immediately switches to Gohan looking for food. So it's not, it's not just Goku, but the other part of it is the RPG elements. They're not good.
They don't go far enough.
I don't know if they don't go far enough or if they go too far for what amounts to a fighting game in the sense. Like I don't know. I don't have any problem with them mixing that peanut butter and chocolate, but it just it didn't click for me. And as long as I'm hearing this game I just knew I was not going to
Yeah,
get
it's
it.
supposed to be a surprisingly long.
Yeah,
game.
no, it's supposed to be possibly as long as the anime. Like people are still going through and finding stuff, and I'm enjoying watching the people go through and find the stuff. Like there's a whole side story with Launch and what she was doing in Z, because she's not really in Z at all. She's in Dragon Ball, but then in Z she's just sort of gone. So it has its interesting points. It was just not something I was going to go in and do this 100+ hour thing with.
Yeah.
I just knew I wasn't. I returned it to get the full money back on it so that I could pick up something else. And I did pick up something else. But you have one more game.
I do. I do want to check out Kakarot.
And
just to see, but I was excited when they announced it. I was a fan of DBZ back in the day. Haven't seen the anime in many years, but still, I've always kind of enjoyed it. Especially when they say oh yeah, it's gonna be a big open world and it's gonna be RPG style.
and it
blah,
does
blah, blah.
have a big open world.
And I'm like, that's right up my alley. Like I love it. But then when they showed some more stuff and I saw the combat, I'm like, this is Xenoverse.
It's
and
Xenoverse, and
I
it,
didn't like Xenoverse, and so I'm hesitant. But it's gonna be one of those that once I'm done with the stuff, oh my gosh, I have so many games to play. I'll never play this game. But eventually,
Right.
at some point, I want to check it out. But yes, you're right. I've been playing one other little game called Pocket Monsters Sword. So I've been playing Pokemon
Alright.
Sword,
all right.
and I have been doing what's known as a Nuzlocke run.
Okay. For those who may not know, what entails a Nuzlocke run?
So there's a bunch of different forms of a Nuzlocke run, a bunch of different rules for a Nuzlocke run. It's basically hard mode Pokemon. The ones that I've been doing, I have 3 rules that I follow. Rule number 1 is you can only catch the first. Well, rule number 1: any Pokemon that you catch, you have to name it.
Okay.
It just adds to the whole, you're bonding with your Pokemon. So far, so good. You can only catch the very first Pokemon that you encounter in any routes that you go. So round 1, first Pokemon you see, that's the one you catch. Cannot catch any other one.
Now,
Can only use that one if you happen to kill it before you capture it. And let me tell you, I've done that like 3 times now. You just don't get a Pokemon that route.
okay, now, by the first Pokemon you see, in Sword specifically, is it the first one that pops up on the...
So yes, I know what you're getting at, because the way that this Pokemon game is, where you see them wandering around. For the first 2 Pokemon, because the first area that you see on the grass, it's super tiny. I went for the very first one I saw. The very literal first one I saw is the one I captured. Once you got into like the wild area and they have like the big grass with some Pokemon walking, I would go in there and I would just run around until a random one attacked me. So I didn't know what it was. Random one attacked me. That first random one, that's the one that I captured.
Okay.
So you're supposed to catch the first Pokemon you encounter. You can only catch 1 Pokemon per route, which means that by the end of the game, you technically, I think, only supposed to have like 17 Pokemon.
Right. There's not.
And then the third and final rule is if a Pokemon faints during battle, it's dead forever, and you have to release it. And that did happen to me once already. So I got to the second gym, which was a water type, and I am going fine with my guy. The trainer sends her last little giant turtle thing. I'm at a disadvantage because I haven't really played Pokemon games in a long time, and also I don't know all the match type ups. And so when someone sends a thing, whatever, some dark type or ghost type or whatever, I'm like, I don't know what's weak against this. I'll just use my first boy right here, and he'll poke at it with his swords, and we'll see what happens. Anyway, so the trainer sends her last thing. It's almost done. All my guys are kind of like getting the orange and the red. And I have a guy that's, 100% life, and he's an electric type. And I knew like, hey, well, electric is strong against water type.
Was this Yamper by chance? The
No.
Corgi?
So I did not catch Yamper the Corgi. I ended up catching the other electric dog, the green one. I don't know what they're called.
Oh, electric. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got him out, and I was like, cool. Hey, go in there and do your work. This lady's like turtle. I don't know what they're called.
Dreadnought.
One shotted my guy.
Okay.
Just one shot. I'm like, what the? So then I sent my last guy, and he finished it, and then that was my first casualty. Since then, I'm at the fire gym. About to do the fire gym, but you go through a couple like mines to get to, as you're going through the story. Again, because I don't know type my shit, I really should have a thing where I can just refer to.
It's a quick Google search.
I know, but I'm playing the game and I don't want to stop to look it up. But what happens is there was a Scraggy that's like the first one that I saw. So in the mines, since there isn't like a grass thing for you to wander in, it's the first one I see. So the first one I saw was a Scraggy. I was like, cool, welcome to my heart, Scraggy. Let me do this. I get over there. I mean, I don't know what you are. I have like, I like to use this move. This is a bug type move. Let me tickle you with this. Boom, one shot. It's super effective. Kills them. I'm like, well, I guess I just don't get another Pokemon here. I've been surprisingly well off because one of the things that I love about the Nuzlocke runs that I've seen, and one of the things that can happen is, since it is a random Pokemon that you get, you can end up with a team of just like all water types.
Right.
Which are going to do, it's going to do great at the fire gym, but when you go like
To the leaf gym, you're going
you
to
go somewhere else,
yeah,
you're like,
when you
man,
go to the grass
you're
types, you
screwed.
die.
Or you always have like normal types, or you just have some super crappy Pokemon. And it started like that, but I got pretty lucky with, right now my crew, you know, I got me a Farfetch'd, which I did evolve into a Surfetch'd. He's
Okay.
my main boy. I got lucky with that. But I have a pretty spread, you know, a couple electric and water and fire and fighting type. So I'm good. And I actually don't need these ones that I've been killing off, although I don't mean to. But it's been really interesting. Like I don't know what it is about playing it like this that it made me want to play more than because I restarted the game. I was playing like I was catching them all. I was doing all this other stuff, but I didn't have the motivation to really keep going. With this, I don't know. It adds more. I've never done a Nuzlocke run. It's the first one I've ever done, but it's been fantastic. I don't know if I'll make it. So
Okay. Couple questions about your playthrough. Your starter.
So the starter, that's the other thing. I don't know if this game does what some of the other Pokemon games where eventually you'll give you another choice that you get to just pick between three. Well, like why eventually you got to get like the original starters and you got to pick. But with this one, I just randomly rolled for it. My starter, the one that I had started with was Score Bunny. And so I basically, when I started this one, I pulled up a picture and he had, you know, Grookey, Score Bunny, and Sobble. And then so it was like 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, 5, and 6. And then I just roll a dice, landed on 5, I got Score Bunny. So that's what I've been going with.
See, the dice knows.
It does. It does.
The die knows because Score Bunny.
He got real close to dying just the other day, like to the red, and I was like, no.
Nuzlocke run. What'd you name him?
Cinder.
Cinder.
Yeah.
You should have named him Ronaldo. I'm just saying, dude.
Well, because he's a fire type. I did name my Surfetch'd Sekiro.
That's all good, but when if you haven't seen Score Bunny's Final Evolution Cinderace, the dude just acts like Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Like his.
I mean, I can't change his name.
When you Dynamax him, because they just announced his G-Max forms coming in DLC. When you Dynamax him, like his thing is he gets on his knees and he spreads his arms out and roars, and he's Ronaldo, man. He's awesome. I love him.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You know, they announced some other stuff for Pokemon. There's the expansion and there's this other. Like I'm excited for those things, but I'm trying to do a very like proper Nuzlocke run to the point of like, it keeps telling me that there's a new rare Pokemon that you can catch at this town. I'm like, I already got a Pokemon there. I can't catch another one right now.
Right.
So, you know, I'm one of those, like, I can't, you know, if I go to a town and they give me one, where, like, I went to the Pokemon breeding center and this lady's just like, well, here's this thing. I'm like, well, I guess I can't catch one here now because she gave me one. So it's been fun, though. So I've been trying to play that more, and it's been interesting, you know, just kind of waiting. A bunch of stuff got pushed back. The next game that I want doesn't come out until February, so
yeah,
I got some time.
I don't think I even have anything in February.
Yeah, I got some time to finish up some
The next
games.
thing I'm going to play is the thing that came out today, Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, but I haven't played it yet because I have not been home yet to play. But
so this is your fault.
Yeah, let's blame the audience. That's the
Yeah, this is
plan.
your fault.
No. I'm happy you're playing Pokemon. You know, obviously my second favorite game of the year last year. I enjoyed it. It's a good Pokemon game. I'm excited to hear about your Nuzlocke run. I couldn't do it. I'm at a point in the game where I'm actually like breeding. If you have save data from either of the Let's Go games, you get either a Pikachu or an Eevee or both if you have both. And I played Eevee, so I have an Eevee save file. I got a Gigantamax Eevee that has perfect IVs. And I'm breeding perfect IV EVs, but the problem is I have a whole bunch of EVs that don't have perfect IVs. So I'm just trading them in surprise trade, and I feel bad doing that. Like, this data that I just have an egg, and it wasn't good enough, so I'm just like, get out of here. I put it on surprise trade to see if I can get something better, and I feel bad doing it.
See, but even like I knew, because I have you also if you play the game before a certain date, like you got a Meowth that could like Gigantamax, yeah. And when I first was playing it before I started the Nuzlocke run, I know like, hey, if you talk to this guy, he gives you one, or if you talk to this guy, he gives you a Pikachu. Because I already got a Pokemon in those areas. Like, I know those guys are there, but I haven't talked to them because I know they're going to give me this guy. And I'm like, nope. So I just got to do this thing. So, but it's been fun. Yeah. So
cool.
We'll see. Check in next week if I've killed a couple guys. And I'll start over. Because, I mean, you can basically technically lose and then stop. You know, if you lose all your guys or if they all die, that's it. That's the end of the run. So
I couldn't do it, man. I know it's just digital little things. That's
right. I released my first guy. Took a screenshot of him. I saluted him, and I was like,
I just that
sleeping with the angels now.
Even thinking about that just stresses me out too much. Although I didn't lose a lot during my run through. If I would have played differently if I would have known I was gonna have to get rid of everything. But
Oh no, yeah, man, you play it.
I mean, I never blacked out.
Yeah, no, because before, like, I was going in and like, whatever, you know, I can do one more hit and this next thing is gonna hit me and it's gonna fail my Pokemon. But it doesn't matter because I have 5 more that I can send out.
Right.
You just keep tossing it like, you know, like it's nothing. But now it's like, oh no, oh my gosh, like it hits me, it's super effective. My guy gets on the red, I freak out. I'm like, oh, get out of here. Can't die. So it's cool.
Cool. So I have one more game that I've been playing that I'm going to talk about. I'll mention one other. I've been going back to Tekken 7 a little bit, just because they released Leroy for the game, and I was really looking forward to him. I didn't buy the DLC. It also just happened to come up as free on Xbox Game Pass, so I'm playing that a little bit. Playing as King. I like King. He's obviously kind of an easy character in the game. Big lanky. I love that. Tekken 7's a good game. Horrible story mode. Good game. Like
Yes.
I beat the story mode on PS4 when it first came out, and God, that story mode is ass. But the other game that I've been playing is Resident Evil 2 remake. So I never played the original. I don't have that connection to the franchise. Also, don't care about zombies. I just don't. Like, The Last of Us is the only one that can get me awake for a zombie game, and even then, I like Last of Us, and that's all the credit I'm giving it, is that it's not a bad zombie game in my eyes. That's the most credit I'm giving it. I still don't think I liked it more than BioShock Infinite the year it came out. Like, I'm just,
I really like BioShock Infinite. So.
Yeah, I'm that guy though that was like, hey, what's your game of the year? BioShock Infinite, but Last of Us 2, but BioShock Infinite, but BioShock Infinite.
That's right. Let's talk about BioShock Infinite.
BioShock Infinite.
BioShock Infinite is really good.
I love that game.
Yeah.
It's the only BioShock I've played.
Okay.
Yeah.
I played the first one. Didn't know what the hype was. I came in late. I know we're sidetracking here, but I came in late to BioShock 1 because there was huge hype, and I played and I'm like, I mean, this is okay, but that's not. But BioShock Infinite, man, that story, especially when it all starts to come together at the end.
That end is, oh man, that is a trip. Anyways. Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 2 remake. Playing through it, I'm starting to understand the love for the remake. It is a damn gorgeous game.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, is this thing pretty? It is so pretty. It's still a zombie game. It's still a survival game. Like it is. I'm counting my bullets and stuff, and it's a survival horror game. It's that genre. You know, I get it. I like the game just fine.
I mean, it's not for everyone. I mean,
No.
we talk about this all the time of like, You know, there's certain games that you can appreciate how good they are, but you know that it's not for you, or you know that the genre of game is just like, it's not my thing. But I get it. Like we spoke about a little before about Resident Evil 2 of, you know, I originally played it as an action game, just, you know, wasted all my ammo, and then I got screwed. Like I could not get past it, so I had to restart the game and play it differently. And like, oh, if I don't need to get over there, then I'm just going to run around the zombie because I can't waste the ammo on this guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I'm playing it like a survival game, like you're supposed to. It's just not clicking for me. And that is somewhat of a Last of Us pun. It's just not my thing.
are you going to check out number 3 when it comes out here in a little while?
Nah, I doubt it.
I remember playing number 3 when it came out and liking it more than number 2.
But as far as I recall, again, having not played it, 3 is an action game, right?
It was more action-y.
It's
not an action game. It's still a Resident Evil game, but I think you see from Resident Evil 1, 2 to 3 to 4 where they're starting leaning a lot more into the action.
Right.
And then Resident Evil 4, you know, a lot of people think it's one of the greatest games of all time and all that because I think it really, it did really well when it comes to action game. And then 5 got way more into action, and then 6 is almost completely action.
Right.
And it started kind of losing the plot. And then
that's
7 brought it back.
7 brought it back
to
and,
horror.
Yeah, and it's cool. I'm glad people like it. I see why people like it. I don't like it. I'm not gonna go any further in it. I'm still in RPD technically. Like I didn't get out of there. I'm not gonna get out of there.
You spend most of the time there anyways. So
right. I'm very early in RPD. I should say. I just got the spade key. So
video games. I don't.
Yeah. I just unlocked some doors with the key. Cool.
Sounds like Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not going back to it. I'll probably get to Persona 5 soon. I'll probably keep playing some Tekken 7. I'm debating since it's on Game Pass and I have it for a couple months because it was $1 for 3 months at one point. So I have it for a little bit longer. I'm gonna probably keep playing it until that's over. You know, Game Pass is cool. I finally played Super Hot over our break too.
Ah, that's a good game.
That's a good game. It's
Super hot.
It's just so quiet. It's almost unsettling playing a game this quiet. It's interesting. But yeah.
Yeah, Super Hot's a good one.
Yeah, Super Hot. I enjoy it. I like the action of it. That's a good game right there. That's a good game right there.
Let's talk about the good games from many, many years ago. As we wait for new games to come out.
As we wait for new games to come out. I mean, in my defense, I played 2 games that came out in the last year, and I just said that they weren't for me. So,
that's true.
You know, sometimes old games are what you got, and that's what you got to work with.
That's right.
All right?
Preach.
Yeah. Cool. So tell us in the comments what you've been playing lately. What do you think about all these games getting delayed lately? You know, what are you excited for Dying Light 2? Is there someone out there that is? I
think so, but I'm not. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe. If that's you, let us know in the comments. What else? You know, of course, like, share, subscribe. You know, it helps us a lot. It really does. And yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I guess that's it.
Just chill day.
See you next time. I'm Kenny.
I'm Felipe. Bye.
Bye.